Hello, everyone. This is Bam. Now, I've got something to say to begin with. This is Buoyant Reality. Now, we're we were supposed to be a group of, people that work together underneath the Overlord's thing, like a group of VTubers, but can't really have a group of one now, can we? So, for now, we're gonna put the Buoyant Reality logo in storage. Alright, so let's start with a proper intro. I'm Bamump 2K15. I'm a homunculus. And in the beginning, I was born in a strange lab. Little blob, meat, and flesh. And then one day, I awoke. I was more active than anything I've known. Eventually, I was able to break free from my confines, taking on a form of a bird. Still a homunculus. And after a while, once I was free from my confines, I went out into the world searching for, anything that anybody else would want. Purpose. And I got into some shenanigans, and eventually I figured out that whenever I lose a limb or something, they pop off and become a doppelganger of myself. And so, after a while, I started to believe that I was immortal. Which, I guess technically I am. So, there's that. While I was still in my bird form, I met up with a group of people that I've never met before. Other like-minded people that also had power and strength and were thinking of themselves as immortal too. And these were the generals of the Demon Lord's army. And so I ended up teaming up with those guys, which was pretty cool. And then, I was a familiar for one person, the Demon General's healer, or the Demon Lord's healer, the Overlord's healer. And the Demon General's healer, she took care of me, and I was able to live pretty happily. And, she let me have freedom to go do my own shenanigans. And so I did. I went around and caused a little bit of mayhem. And, after a while, with all my shenanigans, I started collecting up quite a few doppelgangers. But at the time, I didn't realize that I was changing. So one day, I just evolved into a humanoid form. And so with my new human form, they had to give me a job. So they made me the Dark Lord's spy to begin with. And so I worked for the Adventurers Guild. And this is me at the Adventurers Guild. And it was, not great. Because over in the human world, they don't like non-humans. And because I look almost like a dark elf, they would pick on me all the time. And as long as they thought that, I was just a dark elf, then I was fine. And so I had to wear my glasses because my eyes had to be hidden. But my duty at the Adventurers Guild was to, look through the requests and see if I could find relevant candidates for people to join the Demon Lord's army. And as long as I could endure the bullying, it would be great. But then something happened, and the forces started just falling apart. Well, it was a nice sunny day. Pretty good. And then, so word got round that there was actually a big crusade that happened over at the castle. I was in the middle of working the Adventurers Guild job, trying to figure out if we could try to negotiate with some rat folk before they got wiped out by adventurers. That was generally in the sewers underneath the city. This was before I moved in and took over. Well, not really took over, moved into hiding in the sewers. But back to what I was saying was there was a crusade that happened against the Dark Lord's castle, and the Dark Lord was killed, along with my previous owner, Lanessa, the healer. And so after a while, I just tried my best to, encourage everybody else to work together for the time being until a new Dark Lord came along. I was not great at it. I've had my share of being bullied at the Adventurers Guild, and I guess now it was time to get bullied at the Demon Lord's castle. And boy, did I have to endure a lot of that. And so I ended up having to move away from the Demon Lord's castle and going right into the sewers, where I made my home. And eventually, a new demon lord, new overlord took over. And they assigned me the task of being the new necromancer's, the new demon general necromancer. And so I had to become the crypt lord. So I'm not great at it, but I'm doing my best. So I am the Demon Lord's, the Overlord's necromancer, Crypt Lord Bam, which isn't great. That was the first thing that happened, and then after that, the Dark Paladin left and was replaced by a different evil paladin that I guess was a friend of the Dark Lord. He likes books a lot, so me and him kind of get along. But it's still really bumpy over there between me and the other Dark Generals, Overlord Generals, Demon Generals. I think we decided on Demon Generals. Yeah. No, I'm not a necromancer, even though I've been assigned to be a necromancer. But we did used to have an actual necromancer, and that was my previous owner. Yeah, she was known as the Demon General of Healing, but she didn't use any healing magic. She mostly used necromancy. I never really got a chance to learn anything from her, but she definitely influences kind of everything that I do now for the Demon General. Every day I try my best to be the most powerful necromancer to ever exist. But, some days it's hard because necromancy is like a power that uses life force. And I'm a homunculus. I don't necessarily have a life force. So it's not it's not easy. But I still do my best. So, just fake it until you make it. So instead of animating the dead, I just cast enchantment spells like move object and awaken item on corpses and stuff. And so it gives it the illusion that it's alive. And I can do that to up to 20 bodies. That includes corpses and skeletons and shadows, I guess. I've been playing with illusion magic for the shadows, but mostly my biggest trick, my most useful trick, is moving objects around and being like, "Ooh, behold my specter!" Ooh, like throwing a chair across the floor. Oh, it's definitely not necromancy. You'd be surprised what necromancy can do. It can raise the dead. It can heal wounds. It can resurrect people. One day, I'm gonna be that good so I can resurrect people. And then, maybe, I don't know, maybe we could just go back to the way that we were before the old Overlord died. But, the new Overlord's actually a pretty cool guy. Though he is confusing sometimes. One day, he actually came to me, or sent me a message, and he says, Demon General Necromancer, what's the problem? I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what I said, but he told me that in order to cure me of my fear, why don't I become an idol? At the time, I didn't know what that meant, so I don't know. It's just awkward. All right, and in my research of figuring out what an idol was, I learned what a VTuber was. And so I started my career as a VTuber, or at least as a content creator, a long time ago. And, well, this is kind of my new career path, I guess. I'm hoping that this will help me become a better necromancer, because necromancer requires charisma, and I don't have a lot of charisma. But if I work on it, I'm sure I'll have more charisma, I guess. Maybe, Maybe I'll be a good necromancer someday. Today we're going to be playing a new game. Give me a second as I load it up. I'm hoping everyone likes it. Until that day comes. Oh no. No. No, 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 no. I'll do my best on everything I can.
Sweep up this mess.
This is Bam the Homunculus. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.